Now, I want to talk about, I mean, who knows where this goes, all right? The reality is that America has been through many moments, and you have reported on those many moments where those of us in Australia, with the distance of Australia and the history of Australia, say, but surely this is the moment that. My perspective from this far away is, no, it isn't. It never is. It is also not the sign of a freshly or deeply divided country. They had a civil war. There was contested elections in 1960. 2000, of course, came down to the Supreme Court. It is not new that the joint is split, but whether it's split down the middle or side to side or gendered or race, well, then that's where things start to get more complicated. And I want to talk about some of the reaction that has happened on the right, where I have heard people like Steve Bannon say that Charlie Kirk, who was a colleague of his, they worked on the same sort of internet station, basically, back-to-back shows, says that he is a casualty of war. Now, that's a pretty full-on thing to say about how do you respond to a casualty of war. To others, like Greg Gutfeld on Fox, who said that, you know, people have been woken the F up to what, I don't know. My suggestion is that but no one will listen, of course, is that you need to use the moment to prove that you are better than the people who did this, not to exact revenge for it, because then it's a cycle that never ends. And we have seen many conflicts and many wars where it's your justification for doing something worse is because they did this to me first.
Oh, absolutely. And I think there will be people out there that want retribution for this. And I think whoever did do this deserves every bit of punishment that is available under the law. And I know the Utah governor was suggesting the death penalty. I don't think many people are going to shed a tear if that comes to pass. What I think really need to focus on is the fact that Charlie Kirk, at the end of the day, he believed in freedom of speech, and that's exactly why he did everything. You can't underestimate how horrifying it is to see a person advocating for freedom of speech and going out there and talking to real people, literally being shot in the neck to be silenced. But I think that has to be the response here, to not be silenced. And that's where the risk is, that people stop speaking out, they stop going out in public. And it is scary in America. Guns are a real problem. They are a real issue when you go to public events like this. I always have it in the back of my head. I was thinking if I'd been at that rally, I would have been probably at the back, sorry, not a rally, event. I would have been on one of the back balconies to get out quickly, because it is just one of those realities that you live with here. But the political violence in particular it has become more frequent. I mean, we've had 2 assassination attempts on Donald Trump. We've had lawmakers in Minnesota shot down in their homes. And you can blame social media. It's certainly fuel on the fire. There's always been this kind of divisiveness in America, but there is just kind of this growing sense of frustration that people aren't feeling heard. And that's exactly what Charlie Kirk was trying to do. So I think that has to be the response to this, is to just keep talking and keep defending freedom of speech.
Absolutely. We'll practice that in a moment's time. Last one here. To the people who are watching us, who may be from Western Australia, like your good self, or from all over the rest of the country, who might go, hang on, you know, Sky News, why do they keep talking about this one bloke? Why have they spoken about him all day? Why have people become emotional? What would you say to those who know it's a big deal, but what would you say to them about why it is such an emotional thing for those who get it, for those who see it, and for those who understand the impact of this bloke?
I would say it's such a violent end to such a noble cause, to be just promoting freedom of speech, that he was a lightning rod for young people. Revolutions tend to start with young people, and he was such a central figure in that. As you said at the very beginning, he was extremely influential among the MAGA movement. He didn't let up in his support of it in that time, and the Trump administration's kept very careful note of everyone who dropped off the radar and wanted to come back once he was on the up. And he has had personal friendships with so many people at the top. He had a direct line to Trump, he had a direct line to Vance, he had a direct line to all the Trump children, all the big anchors at Fox, all the big commentators. He was a galvanizing force over the years. And he's been a fixture. And so every single conservative voice in America right now is second guessing themselves, because they know, I can't necessarily go out in public to these events because what if I'm the next target? We don't know who this person was. And so this is an absolutely defining moment. I completely agree with you. America's had an actual civil war. This is the kind of thing that simmers in the US. They've always kind of had a strong contention of beliefs and ideas, but this is a really seismic event.
Well, and it's a perfect bookends to talk about this with you and then with Megyn Kelly a little bit later, because she literally was planning on going on the road, and one of the people she was going on the road with was Charlie Kirk. She wasn't thinking about, security to a degree, but not the degree and whether it happens at all. My assumption is that she, like many others, will steel themselves and go back out there and get involved in that debate, because that is the way, as you say, to defeat those forces who seek to silence. Annelise, so good to see you. I look forward to seeing you very soon. You're looking wonderful as always, and we'll talk to you very soon.
Thank you.
All right, we love her.